40-man Toulon keep Benetton at arm's reach as they make back-to-back finals. My name is Mark, let's talk rugby. Toulon are on attack early on in this one. A good carry from Colby, and they get into the Benetton 22. Parise then puts in a lovely little grubber in behind, and Paya Awa gathers and he goes over to score. Bigger converter at 7-0. So Parise had a great game for Toulon in this one. Just then after restart, we have a TMO check for a high hit by Olivon on Nazi. It's upright, it's directed ahead. There's no mitigation, so it's a red card. TMO tried his best to give the referee, Carl Dickinson, some mitigation, but he wasn't having it. I have to say I agree with him. Like, there wasn't that much in terms of, if you look at it in real time, not really that much that you could say there was mitigation. Therefore, I know some people disagree with that, but it's very hard, I think, as fans to really draw that line, as in, this is a red card, this is a yellow, this is a penalty. I think almost everybody has different opinions of exactly where that line is. But for me, I think it was a red, and I think Dickinson got it right. I think we're seeing now, though, that with kind of, you see a lot of pundits coming out and, coming out about against referees and saying, oh, this is a bad call, that's a bad call, etc. And nobody ever thinks that maybe the pundit got it wrong rather than the referee. And I think a lot of the calls we're seeing from pundits are actually more questionable than the calls from the referees at the moment, because I think pundits aren't necessarily applying the protocol that's there for high hits like this, whereas whether it's a red, yellow, etc., and they're just applying it as in, well, this is a semi-final, so therefore you shouldn't be giving red cards because it's going to spoil the game. But my thing is, well, we've had this for a few years. Players should be tackling a bit lower, and I think that for any team, I was up for Benetton in this one, but still, if I had been a Benetton player, I would have said the same thing. Should have been a red card. Would have said the same thing as well had it been Leinster. And if anybody brings it up, if that Porter incident had been caught by the TMO, I think he certainly should have gotten a sanction for that. Probably a yellow card for that as well. But you're thinking at that stage then, oh God, Toulon are in, maybe in trouble now. But straight after, they win a scrum penalty, and they have Payao is actually packing down on the flank for this one. So, like, really big scrum for them, when they obviously have 8 guys in the pack, but one of them isn't used to being in there. But a big statement, from them basically to Benetton, that just because we're down to 14, this is not going to be easy for you. Bigger slots, the penalty then, we're at 10-0. Toulon then, shortly after they get over again, they get a penalty kick to the corner, claim the line out, they work the ball in field. Parise gets close, then they recycle it, and Gigiashvili gets over to score. Bigger adds on the extras. 17-0 with 14 men is some going. Benetton, then they have a period of possession, but pretty much going nowhere. Like, the Toulon defense is really good. They do win a scrum penalty, and there's plenty of shouting, backslapping, and feel like that they're trying to G themselves up to try to get some kind of response. Kicking the penalty up the line. It's the first real chance for them in the game. They work it in field, but then Toulon managed to turn it over, and Colby kicks it clear. Benetton then, they begin to build their way into the game. They get back into the 22. They're probing, looking for a gap, but then Villiers knocks on deliberately. It's a penalty only. It wasn't as bad as the Glasgow one against Scarlets in that semi-final. That should have been a yellow card. But again, like I think other than that, like in that game, we had a red as well. I think the referee got that one right too. But yeah, Villiers gets away with that. You know, it's deliberate. It was definitely deliberate knock on. And again, I've seen a lot of yellow cards given for that kind of thing, especially where he was, like right close to the line, and you know, probably should have been a yellow card, but it's penalty only. And as I said, we had pretty much the same thing in the other semi-final, and it was just a penalty too. But I think both of those instances were actually should have been yellow cards. Benetton go to the corner, they win another penalty, go back to the corner again. They set up the maul from the line out, but Toulon get in and make a completely unplayable scrum turnover to them. Benetton then, they almost get over, but Lamoureux drops the ball on the line. Like, you know, normally he's such a good player for them, and just at that one moment his hands let him down. And you know, then we have a scrum. Toulon win another penalty at the scrum. They get it off the field, and that's half time, 17-0. I'm thinking at that stage Benetton need a good start to the second half, but when it comes to get the complete opposite, they get stripped of the ball in midfield, and then MacLeod takes Payao out off the ball. He gets himself a yellow card. Bigger then extends the lead from the tee to 22-0. And then shortly after, Bigger slots another penalty. Benton's line out misfiring and, you know, trying to recover then to give away the penalty. Bigger again from the tee, so we're 23-0. And yeah, at that stage, even 15 against 14, you're thinking there's just no way back for Benetton. Then Talafua he comes on a hooker for Toulon, and his first involvement is to give a short ball at the line out. The thing, like, this is so funny. I don't know whether to show it in the replay. They're probably not, like in the highlights package, but live they replayed it a couple of times. But his throw into the line out could have been a scrum feed. It was that crooked, but it doesn't get picked up. But he gives it in, gets a return ball, breaks down the line, and then Parise tries another kick close to the line just after that. This one, he puts a chip over the top. Benetton, though, scramble this time, and they actually get back to prevent the score. And, you know, Parise really, as I said, he had a great game and some good tricks. Sometimes he tries stuff like that, and it just doesn't come off. But today, it was either coming off or putting pressure on Benetton. Benetton then, they make a break up the middle, which is a forward pass, and it's a scrum to Toulon. They again win the penalty at the scrum, and it just, you know, this and the next incident kind of sum up how the game is going for Benetton, because after that then Benetton, they win a penalty at the breakdown. They decide to, you know, they're going for the corner. They need to score a try to try and get back in the game. Kick the ball dead, scrum back to Toulon. From there, then the game is kind of petering out. We got mistakes from both sides, no clear-cut chances, and it's mainly played between the two 22s. Benetton then, just before the end, get another penalty, kick to the corner, kick it dead again. Like, and you just think it's just not your day. And then just after that, then Dickinson blows the whistle, and that's a full time, 23-0, Toulon on to the final. Let's have a quick look at some of these stats from the game. So possession territory, both 47-53 in favour of Benetton. You know, Benetton with that extra man, especially, they had more of the ball. They were in the Toulon half, but not really getting into the Toulon 22 all that often. Some really good defence with 14 men from Toulon. And Benetton not really creating that many chances that I can remember. Like there was that one from Lamoureux where he dropped it on the line, and then there was the couple where they had the penalties to kick to the corner and missed touch as well. But other than that, didn't really make that much of the advantage they had there. Meters gained then 283 for Toulon and 258 for Benetton. Toulon, even with like a man deficit, they were the ones creating the space and making that ground, and especially into the 22 that Benetton kind of struggle at a lot. Defenders beaten then just speaks to that as well. 17 for Toulon and 10 for Benetton. Benetton with an extra man, but still not being able to shut down that Toulon attack. Turnovers 11 for Toulon, 18 for Benetton. And Benetton's turnovers weren't kind of ones that were kind of to launch attacks. They were basically to ease the pressure, because Toulon really were putting him under a lot of pressure throughout the game. Lineouts then 100% for Toulon, 90% for Benetton. Generally, Benetton's lineout goes fairly well. 90% is fairly good, but didn't really use it as a platform to attack during the game. Scrums then 88% for Toulon, 75% for Benetton. And that kind of again speaks to the effort and the performance from Toulon, that they were a man down at the pack. Yes, they did have a backpacking there as well on the flank, but still to come out on top in the scrum so decisively, because they were the one winning the penalties, again just speaks to I can think the drive for this team to get back to that final that they lost last year. Penalties conceded then 12 for Toulon, 14 for Benetton. I think there were times where you could have seen Benetton getting maybe a yellow card for persistent infringement in the red zone, but didn't really materialize. In terms of then the two teams and their how have they done so far in the competition, Benetton, I think they did really well to get this far. As I said, I was supporting them, but they never really fired a shot in the game. I think they'll be disappointed with their performance, but they can certainly be proud of their campaign. Toulon seem to be on a mission to claim the trophy that they missed out on in the final last year. Haven't really been tested yet in the knockout stages. That's not their fault, obviously, just been too good for their opposition. But I think Glasgow will probably change that in the final, and I think it's going to be another great occasion to look forward to.